Well, with the playoffs here, I think we need to do our power rankings a little bit different, Michael. So we are just going to rank them 1 through 14 today. And then, yeah, that'll be fun. So, you ready to do this thing?
Yes, let's do it.
Excellent. All right, everyone. This is We Are the Game. I'm looking at this, Michael, and we're going to do, like I said, kind of our power rankings, not the same way we've been doing them, going by, division by division kind of a deal. But now we're just going to go 1 through 14. We're using the tier maker, of course, because it's the obvious tool for this kind of thing. And we're just going to put each team up into its respective position. This is not a standings show. If you want to see the standings and where teams are in there, that ESPN has you covered. So this is just what we think of each team and how good they actually look right now. So what we want to do is I'm actually going to give Michael an entire bracket here. So I'm going to give him 12 through 14 to start. Maybe we'll move our way to the top. Just put 3 teams in there, and then maybe I'll just, I don't know, address it at the end if I think something's crazy. But you go ahead and tell me who you want in 12 through 14 in that, and what order.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm re-going through that list as we talk here. I mean, the first team to come to mind in the 12 to 14 is probably the Carolina Panthers. On one level, it does seem a little unfair to put them up here over the next team I'll bring up, but let's go ahead and put the Carolina Panthers in there. They have moments where they feel really, really good. All these things are working together. And I think ultimately it may just be that they feel good against teams that are not particularly great against the run. But they're inconsistent at best. With that being said, you do not want to take a nap on them. They will hurt you. But I still feel like they've got a lot to prove. This is their starting point. I think we'll start there. Next, I will take the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, it's another team that has moments. I think we saw a very Aaron Rodgers-esque fourth quarter and maybe even third quarter of their last game to beat the Ravens. But and by that I mean that he was behind, he had to come back. He was able to mount a comeback. Yes, ultimately is a missed field goal. There was a missed extra point before that. It's an odd ending to that whole game. Still, I think they're dangerous, but they're kind of on the tail end here of the grouping here. I think this next position is a lot harder. I'm tempted to put the Packers here, which seems strange, but they've played without Jordan Love. They've lost. It just feels like maybe there's some things going around. They haven't been the same defense since Micah Parsons has been out. I'm tempted to kind of throw them in this place. There's arguments to probably be made for maybe even the Eagles, but definitely the Bills, excuse me, to be kind of in this spot as well. But I think I'm going to put the Packers there. I know Jordan Love is supposed to be back, and supposedly he's going to be at 100%. That's yet to be seen. So I think that's where I would start. Where are you at on this?
Well, before I give my where am I at, give me the actual order. Let's say left to right, being 12, 13, 14.
I think I'll put Panthers 14. I think it's just switching Green Bay and Carolina. I think Green Bay right now to me seems, right, just like that. So Green Bay would be the highest ranked of the 3. Pittsburgh's in the middle. I think that from a capability standpoint, if these teams were playing each other, I would expect Green Bay to win those games the most often than Steelers, than Carolina less. That's how I would look at it.
Yeah, no, I think I get that. These were the 3 teams I was thinking of for this bracket. They're the 3 teams that are most limping into the playoffs, as they say. The Panthers lost their last game and then needed help from another team, but got it. So they're in at 8-9. So they're kind of the obvious choice, and it just feels right. The Packers hadn't been the same. Injuries have really messed with them. Of course, the Micah Parsons thing, which was working out so well, when he goes down, now they've lost that little edge that they had. And on top of that, Jordan Love's missed time, and while Malik Willis has played well, it just messed with their continuity. And then other injuries have been there as well. I know. And let's get this out of the way. Every team has injuries. This is accurate. Yeah. But not all injuries are created equal. So we'll see what they can do, prove everyone wrong. Maybe they're a bit healthier now. But for now, I have some doubts, and I think they've earned them. So I would agree with your order here. We'll see. On the same time, the Steelers getting DK Metcalf back could help. But I don't know that we'll get a chance to really see. It just feels like a bad matchup, them going up against Houston this week. So, yeah, I would agree with that. All right. Well, then, let's flip it. And I'll do 9 through 11, and then you tweak that as you see fit. Let's see. I'm going to put the Chargers up in here. They're well documented. Offensive line issues,
Mhm.
I think, are going to be a problem at some point. They have most of the team they need to be a real contender. They just, losing both tackles has haunted them the entire season, it feels like. Um, I'm going to put the Eagles here, but at the same time, they're one of those teams that
Yep.
I feel like they're a really good team that teams are looking at. They're like, oh, they're not as good as last year. Yeah, they'll be nothing. They'll just be out, and then they might not be out so quickly. And so I
Yeah.
am not sleeping on the Eagles. And then I'm probably going to put something of an unproven team here. I'm stuck kind of now between the Texans and the Bears and the Bills.
Mhm.
Texans, Bears, Bills is kind of who I would want to put in here right now. I'm going to put the Bills, which hurts because I like the Bills, but I don't trust the way that they're playing. They're not consistently playing at a high level. They have, of course, elements, and Josh Allen's Josh Allen, but I don't completely trust them as a team. So hopefully they'll prove me wrong here and go have some success. This is the year with Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson out of the playoffs. This is the year to try to capitalize. So we'll see if they can. I think if I was ordering them, I would probably go like that. So I would say that is Buffalo, then Philadelphia, then the Chargers, going 9, 10, and 11. How would you tweak that? Or you could take out a team or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking back through it. I was gonna change something, and then I was like, no, I think that's right. I think that you could make, like the Eagles and the Bills. I think you could probably interchange those back and forth. I don't. I kind of agree. This is where they are. And again, going back to our point, it's not like necessarily we're saying these teams are gonna end the season here. It just feels like this is where they're at right now. So I would, yeah, in a game with the way they've been playing, I would take the Bills probably over the Eagles. But yeah, I think that's pretty close, though. I think that's pretty close. I don't think I would change it out. I think I agree with you here. So no, I'll leave this here and then jump into 6, 7, and 8. Now, I do think I will put Chicago in here. There are definitely moments where I'd have put Chicago higher up. Just a few weeks ago, I'd have been like, man, Chicago looks like they should be in one of the top 2 tiers here. I feel like they've come back down to earth a little bit, and maybe they just need to kind of get their feet back on them and get going. They're a very dangerous team, but I think this is kind of where I think they belong for where they're playing right now. Similarly, I kind of feel like this is maybe where, and this is another kind of shocking one, I guess, in a way, is New England. I kind of feel like New England is here. It's not their winning record. They have this is going to be a fantastic season to have under their belt. I tip my cap to them, but it does still feel like they struggle to maintain consistency against high end teams. I want to see more from them before I'm ready to push them up. I'm happy to push them up. I'm excited about this team, but I just feel like we need to see them against some high level defenses, high level offenses being consistent. So I think I would put them here. And then I think the last team that I'm going to put in here, and it's almost as a you lost on the coin toss here kind of a thing, is probably the San Francisco 49ers. They're definitely capable, again, of being higher than this. I think of the teams in the West, I would say they're the weakest of the three. I don't think it's a wide margin, but I think there is a margin there. So I would put these three in this category for just, again, where they're at today. Where are you at on these? I imagine in these last 3 rows, we'll have some areas where we probably don't agree.
Probably some. For here, I think the argument is that, so I think this is about right. For the pay, like, first of all, what's the order you went here? 6, 7, 8. Is this right? Or?
Oh yeah, probably not. I'll put San Francisco at the front and Chicago at the back for, again, how they're playing right now.
Yeah. For San Francisco, I mean, they, as much as they kind of stumbled into the playoffs themselves, kind of like some other teams, they've shown enough, and they did it against Seattle, who may be the best team in the country. Spoiler alert. But they only scored 3 points, so that was a little bit disconcerting for a team that's had pretty stable production most of the season despite injuries. So I get the whole putting them down for right now. But if they won that game, they'd be the one seed in the NFC. So they are right there. I think they're the team that could prove us wrong the quickest, which
Oh,
makes sense to
sure.
put them kind of in the middle so that we're not proved grossly wrong by putting them at like 14. The Patriots, everyone thinks it's some like real diss to only think that they're right here in the middle. Like they're literally 7 of 14. And so it's just about who have you beaten, and you
Yeah.
haven't beaten that many good teams. You did beat a couple, and good job, but you haven't beaten that many good teams. But again, they were an Oakland at the, or not Oakland, sorry, I'm still doing it 5 years later. They were a Vegas win, or loss rather, away from being the one seed in the AFC. So it's
Right.
right there, and you got to beat the teams in front of you and so on. I kind of want to see who this team is in the playoffs. Like there's that, who do they turn into once the playoffs start? Does he have a Superman, or are they just doing the math? Are they scared of the moment? You don't really expect those negative things to happen, but it has happened. And so I'm anxious, more like excited to see who they are, but I just haven't seen it yet. So I carry your doubts about them a little bit, but
Sure.
it'll be fun to watch. And then Chicago, a lot of the same things. Now people tend to talk about Chicago like, yeah, but their defense, they just need you to turn the ball over. It's like, yeah, but they do. Like they keep causing it to happen. Like something happens once, twice. Yeah, maybe that's just luck, but they have had it happen for most of the season pretty consistently. So them being able to turn their opponents over has been a real boon for them. And if they can do that, that makes them maybe the best team in the country. But I need to see them do it in the playoff setting. And then there's that whole like, are you going to be scared of the moment? And so on and so forth. So I have some confidence in the Bears, but I will need to see them prove it here. So I don't think I would change this. I'd be tempted to put Houston instead of San Francisco, and then like San Francisco at 5, but it would be
Yeah.
close. So it'd
Yeah.
be tomato tomato kind of a thing.
I
So
take it that's also a spoiler alert.
yeah, well, I mean, yeah. Let's just go ahead and get right to that. So for
Yeah.
3.5, I will put Houston up here. They have not lost since they were 3-5. They kind of remind me in a lot of ways of the San Francisco 49ers from back in 2022, I believe it was. I remember the Cardinals and the Niners were 3-4 at the same time. The Cardinals did not win another game, and the Niners did not lose a game, I believe, until the Super Bowl. They did some big move. They got some, running back people have heard of from Carolina, and that seems to have turned their season into something. So for Houston, they didn't make like a huge trade. It just kind of started to come together. They started to get healthy in the right places. CJ Stroud's been playing well. The defense has been great all year. This seems to be who they are. They might move up a little bit, but I really like what they're putting together. And I think the Steelers, who they'll play this week, are a bad matchup for the Steelers. I think that the Texans, really counter what the Steelers will try to do. We'll see if their offense can get past guys like TJ Watt and not let him wreck their plans. After that, I don't want to put you in a real bad spot up top. We get to, in my opinion, the 4 best teams, which I mean makes
Yeah.
sense where we are, but like legitimately, the 4 best teams are very close to each other in my eyes. So these are the 2 teams that we're going to have just a little bit of disrespect for, I suppose you'd say. I will put Jacksonville here. Here. I think like that, at least for starters. Jacksonville, again, I always talk about how it doesn't seem like they have any weaknesses. I don't know that they're best in the league at anything, but they don't have anything where I'm like, oh, that's a flaw. You get the Texans, and I'm like, I don't completely trust their offense yet, but they have a great defense. And the Niners, they're missing Fred Warner and Nick Bosa and so on and so forth. The Jags just have a whole lot of really good and consistent play. And they're also getting the best out of Trevor Lawrence right now that they've ever gotten. So that all comes together, and they're one of the best teams in the country. After that, I think, oh man, I'm going to put you in a really terrible spot, aren't I? I'm kind of hoping that you audible.
I'm ready for it.
I'm going to put Denver here for kind of like a twist on the reasons that we put on New England. Like they have beat some good teams. I'll definitely put them at the front of this list. They beat some good teams, but they have won that whole skin of their teeth like a lot. They've had some things go really right. They've also had some dominant wins, but I don't know that I completely trust them yet in the playoffs with what they have.
Sure.
Again, I'm just hoping that you correct me on this and that I don't have to live with what I've created here at 1 and 2. But I want Denver to be in that top spot, but some part of me is holding back. Like once they're facing nothing but really good opponents, which they'll have to face 3 of, I guess, theoretically, that they might find like a flaw in their armor. So we'll see. They do have some great players, obviously, on both sides of the ball. They're going to be relying on their defense. I just don't know that I trust them. And I say that, I mean, I'm putting them at 3 instead of 1 or 2. So it's not like I'm just bashing them to the ground here, but that's what I see. And I'm praying that you will make this something else.
Well, thanks for leaving me with that. Well, I'll start this off by just saying I can't put 2 NFL West teams or NFC West teams in there at the same time. So let's start there. Okay. I'm going to easily, and I apologize to say these words in advance, I'm going to go ahead and crown Seattle as the number 1 team, I think, to beat. Yeah. I would have them as number 1. It pains me to say, but I respect that with how much organizational change they really had this year. I think that's pretty impressive. They've done a great job. Way to go. I think the Rams are a great organization, and they also have a lot going for them. And both of these teams, I'm just going to go ahead and spill this one. Both of these teams have beat the team that I'm going to put at the top, which is going to be, I'm going to move the Jags up there. Now, I'm going to move the Jags to be number 2. Now, there's a temptation to put the Broncos there. There really is. They do play really consistent football, but as you already outlined, it's kind of like, who have you beat? And they've beat some people for sure. I'm going to put the Rams as number 3, and then I will make my case on the Jags. This again is, yes, they lost to the Seahawks and the Rams back to back in like weeks 6 and 7. They beat the Texans and they beat the Chargers. Like they've beat the Broncos. Like they beat the other teams that are in this area. They're not just beating teams right now. They're obliterating teams. Like they are absolutely manhandling people on both sides of the ball. I think they deserve to be here until they're proven otherwise, which could be really quick. Who knows? But I think that they're playing in this caliber of football where I think they can challenge a team, like the teams below them. I think everyone has an uphill battle against how the Seahawks have looked recently. If that makes sense. What do you think? Is that too far off? I'll give you the last word on all of this.
No. I mean, I get it. I didn't like doing it when I was doing it, but they've proven so much. And like a lot of the stuff I said about the Broncos, I could say about the Seahawks as well. Right. They need to see them prove it a bit more consistently. They had to play against the Rams and the Niners twice this year, if nothing else. So I mean, they've gotten tested pretty regularly. You know, the Broncos have the Chargers and the Chiefs in their division, and they played the Chiefs before, Mahomes went down. So they did get tested. I don't want to be like they never played anyone. They just played the Cardinals all year. Right. But I think I trust what my eyes are seeing with Seattle, which my eyes want to vomit all the time. But like their defense is not as good as Legion of Boom, but it is really good, and I hate it. Sam Darnold does not seem to be quite as effective as he was last year in Minnesota, but I don't think they have quite the weaponry there. Jackson Smith and Jigba has been a revelation, of course, but I just don't completely. I don't love what they're doing on offense, but their defense is so good that as long as they're not playing against the Rams, where he tends to turn the ball over 3, 4, 5 times, they've been very consistent. So I trust them a lot. For the Jags, I hope you're right. I do like what I'm seeing there. And again, the whole not really having a weakness speaks volumes. So I hope that you're right and that they're better than the Rams. I know that the Rams have kind of tripped a little bit over the finish line of the regular season, but that offense, they're kind of the opposite of the Seahawks in a lot of ways, where they have a pretty darn good defense, but their offense is, what does he have, 46 or 47 passing touchdowns this year? He and Puka Nacua just have this crazy chemistry going on. This kind of reminds me of back when they made a run with Cooper Kupp a few years back and then ended up winning everything. So they are definitely a team that could win it all. But yeah, we could drone on about this. But Well, unless you got anything to add, let's go ahead and wrap this up.
The only thing I'll add is just the probability that we will see them play each other one more time in a week and a half. It seems potentially pretty high.
Yeah.
So that'll be quite a interesting battle should that be what comes to pass.
Oh yeah, there will be some great games this playoffs for sure, and our teams will just watch because that's what they do right now. Well, I'm sorry, your team will watch. My team will look for a coach.
Yes.
So,
We're both in the hunting category. You're
I
just more
suppose that's
serious
true.
about
We're
it.
hunting for a while. So, anyways, all right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. It's been a fun little power ranks to do. We'll adjust this maybe next week or maybe the week after that, depending on how things go. But we'll try to keep up with it. So we hope you'll join us again sometime. And on that note, if you'll give us a like and a subscribe, it would be very helpful. We're just going to talk about football stuff again next week. We'll do a picks and power rankings and whatever fun stuff there is to talk about. So let us know down in the comments where you'd put these teams 1 through 14. But yeah, let us know. We'll see you all next time, and then have a great day.